Hey y'all, insight number 3. I am so trying to keep these under 10 minutes, but there's so much goodness in what Jesus teaches. Just can't stop talking. Alright, let's try and do this. Alright, so Matthew 7, we're going to look at 7 to 11, but I'm also going to quickly cover 1 to 5 and 6. So let's do that first. So 1 to 5 is talking about, judge not that you be not judged. And don't be a hypocrite. Like, if you're going to see something in someone else and criticize them for it, like, look at yourself first. And I got to say, I did this at church. There's a sister who is a really lovely sister. She honestly is amazing. But, and I try to say this with love, she talks very slowly and has to tell you every part of the story, whether it applies to the point or not. And she'll do this in the middle of a Relief Society lesson, and a comment that could have taken 30 seconds now takes 5 to 10 minutes. And it greatly irritates me. However, here's the thing. I don't judge her for that, because it annoys me. Don't get me wrong, it does annoy me. But I don't let it take it to a bad place. What I did instead, this is just an example, this is what I try to do with everyone, that immediately the judgment will come because we're human, and then you can transform it, reword it, reframe it, refocus it. So that the judgment came, and I'm like, no, because she honestly is, and I mean really is, a heart of gold, sweet, darling sister. So I was like, okay, so the way she talks annoys me, probably irks a few other people too, because it's just, by the time she finishes, you're like, oh, thank goodness, and I'm sure we all know people that do this. But I thought to myself, do I do this to anybody? Do I go on and on and on about stuff? Because I know I've seen my husband give me that look where because I do, I just talk over and over and over. And our whānau son, which is like an unofficial adoption, we just took him in, Hayden, who is also a treasure to me, if he ever sees this. He will do the same thing. He has something on his mind, and he will bring it up 20 times within 24 hours and talk about it, the same thing over and over and over. But he's trying to work it out, and I know that's his process. And I know that I do the same thing with other people. Try not to, but I'll do it with myself even. I'll talk it over and over and over. So I know this. So I accept that of him, and I love him, and he doesn't annoy me when he's doing it, because when I can hear him talking about it, I know that he's more just talking for himself to get it out and do that. But it just had me thinking, do I do this to other people? And am I failing to see their looks of, like, could you not do this? Like, I'm not comfortable with you doing this. And am I making other people feel that way? So it was a judge not lest you should be judged. Because I don't want to be judged. I want to be the better person that I can be. The best that I can be. So, it just, yeah. I'm just patient with the sister. Because she really is lovely. I don't know why her talking like that annoys me. I think because I talk fast and slow. I'm just like, hurry it up, woman, like, I don't know why, but yeah. And then 6 is really good too. So give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast your pearls before swine. So basically, don't give the things that you treasure to dogs that are going to ruin it, or pigs that are going to trample it and make it all muddy and gross. Like, you don't take your finest wedding dress and throw it out in the pig pen. No, you hang it in a garment bag in the wardrobe, right? You keep it nice. So do that with your covenants. Do that with your treasures. Keep things nice. Yeah, don't take the finest of things that you have and just trash them. It's not good. All right. Okay. So let's get on to 7 to 11. So this is about, again, more a little bit about prayer, but more of a have your relationship in a position that you can do this. So he says in 7, ask and it shall be given you, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom if his son ask bread, will give him a stone? Now remember, he's going back to when Satan tempted him, turn bread into stone, turn stone into bread. It's on his mind, like, if your child that you loved asks you for bread, are you going to give him a stone? No. And Heavenly Father's not going to do that to us either. Or if he asks a fish, will he give him a serpent? Like, he's not going to punish it. He's going to give us more than we ask for. This is that, if you go back to last week's insights, the one where I talk about fitting the spices into the jar, and this is in Luke, which is also the Sermon on the Mount. He words it differently. He does that whole, shake it down and pack it in till it overflows. And that's the way God blesses us. That's the way it comes back to us. And, and then 11, if ye then being evil know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? So like, if we could be evil, we could be mean, we know how to do that, and we still give good gifts to our children and our loved ones. So how much more then does our Father in heaven, who is perfect, give good gifts to us? So, ask for help. And this occurred to me while I was reading it, in that, we're taught to be self-reliant, and a lot of us ask for help after the fact or in the middle of the storm rather than at the beginning of the issue or whatever, the day or whatever. We don't ask for that help. We wait till later. And it came to me that self-reliance that we're taught to do, and yeah, we should, but it actually is God-reliance. So let's look at that. So God is a God of giving, the best gifts. All we need to do is ask. Ask at the beginning, as well as at the middle and the end. Often in our efforts to be self-reliant, we think that means the world teaches, to rely only on ourselves. Because that's what the world teaches self-reliance is. We think of people like Bear Grylls who can go out and survive in the wilderness for months on end off what he can chew off a tree and, live under a bush. And it's like, well, good for him. That's not who I am. I need my bed. I, can't chew a tree and have food. I need something different. I'm not that person. I am something different. But I'm still self-reliant. I do rely on myself a lot. But in that, I bring God in and I bring Christ in at the beginning of everything, because I have learnt that is the only way I will ever make it through to the end of anything, if that makes sense to you. So the world will teach us to rely only on ourselves. That's what self-reliance is to the world. However, Jesus teaches that to be truly self-reliant is actually to rely on God. Rely on Jesus. Rely on him. And then move forward. It is a group effort here. Nice little group effort. That true self-reliability comes in trusting yourself to trust God. Self-reliance is God-reliance. Have a think about that. I'd love to know your thoughts. That just honestly came to me this last week when I was studying it, that true self-reliance is God-reliance. It is our relationship with God that allows us to get through any of it. And sure, we can accomplish things without God, but it's a whole lot harder. So why are we making it harder for ourselves? Invite him in at the beginning and the middle and the end and all the days in between those points. Like I said earlier, yesterday's prayer or this morning's prayer is not going to cover what happens this afternoon for me. We need to have that communication often, and we need to have that relationship that allows that trusting often. All the time. To have true self-reliance is to have God-reliance. I think that's awesome. So yeah, just let me know your thoughts on that one. Neil A. Maxwell said, yielding one's heart to God signals the last stage in our spiritual development. Only then are we beginning to be fully useful to God. How can we sincerely pray to be an instrument in his hands if the instrument seeks to do the instructing? I'm like, oh yeah, do I know what he's talking about? Because I have done that in my life. I'm like, Heavenly Father, I'll do whatever you need me to do. And so he's like, okay, Lorraine, here you go, do this. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to do it this way. And he's like, no, this way. Oh, no, I've got a better idea. And it's just like, I have learnt, and I'm still learning because I still tend to do this time to time. I'm getting better. But yeah, how can we be an instrument in God's hands if the instrument seeks to do the instructing? It's not self-reliance, is it? Self-reliance is God-reliance. If we are truly self-reliant, we are God-reliant, and we will follow his instructions, and it does work out better. Sometimes it takes a while to see it, but it does work out better. So I just love that from Elder Maxwell. I think it's really cool. How can we sincerely pray to be an instrument in his hands if the instrument seeks to do the instructing? It's like, how are you going to cut with scissors if the scissors are telling you how to cut? And you're like, no, go this way. And the scissors are going, no, but I want to go that way. It doesn't work, right? Well, it works really badly. So I just love that one. So again, drop your thoughts on that one. I'm going to keep this under 10 minutes. We're going to move on. I will see you for insight number 4 I'll be there.